It is so great to see this crowd here that wants to put America first! And that's what it's all about. There are a lot of people gathered here today. There are people gathered here earlier at CNN. And in some sense, we have joined together with other factions to stop the steal of this election. But never forget, the most important thing, the thing that sets us aside from everyone else, even among conservatives, is that we are the only ones that want to put America first! It was me and Alex Jones rallying for the past 3 days out here, and we wanted to put a stop to the steal of this election. And we watched on November 3rd the stealing of this election. Many have abandoned us. You have right now Republican establishment members abandoning us and abandoning our president. On election night, Ben Shapiro said that it was irresponsible for the president to claim victory. I'll tell you something. It is irresponsible to be Israel first in this country.
Nice, we're good. Cool.
And as we've been rallying across the country in Michigan and Wisconsin and Washington, D.C. and Georgia, I look around and I see our America First patriots, people that have been blacklisted, people that have been insulted, told they're racist, told they don't belong, even in the conservative coalition. But we're the ones turning out for our president, President Trump. And where is everybody else? Where are the so-called true conservatives? Where are the so-called real Republicans? Where is Nikki Haley? Where is Mitch McConnell? Where is Marco Rubio? And where is Charlie Kirk? I'll tell you something. It was a year ago that we fought the Draper War against Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk has made his entire career off of this president and selling access to him and his family. And now, in the president's hour of need, when he is fighting for his life, Charlie Kirk and his organization are nowhere to be found. And by the way, the same goes for every one of these Republican politicians who owe their career to President Trump. They are nowhere to be found, and it's a disgrace.
Tell them. Treason.
We are out here to protest what's happening in Georgia right now. They went and tried to steal this election with a fake ballot count and a fake recount. And just yesterday, they certified the fake results of this election. I don't know about you, but I had some confidence in Georgia. A Republican state legislature, a Republican secretary of state, and a Republican governor. And what could they do to protect our president? Absolutely nothing. Yesterday, Brian Kemp gave a press conference, and he said, well, we have to certify the results, but we're not happy about it. Oh, really? You're not happy about it? We're not happy about it, and we're going to do something about it. We're not happy with you, Governor Kemp, and we're not happy with the Secretary of State. So this is a message to all Republicans. This is a message to the Republican Party. If you cannot protect our interests, if you cannot represent us, then we are done with the Republican Party forever! The Democrats have stolen elections for decades, maybe for hundreds of years. We know that. But we were supposed to be able to count on Republicans. Specifically, we were supposed to be able to count on Republicans who campaigned on their support for our president. People like Brian Kemp, people like Madison Cawthorn and Dan Crenshaw, and former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley and Marco Rubio. They got elected because of their support for President Trump. And now that we're fighting against the most widespread and blatant voter fraud in American history, they will not fight for President Trump. the outcome of this contest, whether President Trump is inaugurated or Joe Biden is inaugurated, the message must be the same. America First is not going anywhere no matter what.
Yeah!
Whether they seat President Trump because of us and because of the Trump campaign, or even if we fail, the revolution against the Republican establishment will not end here. It will go on for years.
Yeah!
Already, they're talking about the election of 2022 and the election of 2024. And I'm looking forward to it too. Because if we don't succeed in this election, we will primary every last Republican next election. Of course, we know that it is not a battle between Republicans and Democrats. What started 5 years ago when President Trump came down that escalator at Trump Tower in July 2015 was a fight against we, the American people, versus the global special interests that have taken over our country.
Yeah!
And this battle, just like every other battle that has been fought for the past 5 years, is the same. It is not us Republicans versus those Democrats. We have nothing in common with those so-called Republicans that purport to represent us. Once again, it is us and our president against those globalist elites. Sadly, even people that we were supposed to be able to count on have failed us. Where are you, Tucker Carlson? And I love Tucker Carlson, but his coverage of this entire situation since election night has been an embarrassment and a disgrace.
Yeah! Get on a plane? Why isn't he here? Why aren't these people here?
As always, it is us and it is our president that represents us. He alone is the only thing standing between them and us and our children and our children's children and the inheritance of this civilization. And insofar as President Trump is the only one standing in the way, insofar as President Trump is the only one who will put America and Americans first, our allegiance is to him alone.
Yeah!
The Republican Party has screwed us, and all these institutions have screwed us. Fox News and the conservative elite, all the money that they raise, all the votes that they get, all the resources at their disposal, and in the hour that matters most, they're helping the other side. They're not us. They were never us. So, once again, it is us, the orphaned American people. The orphaned American people without the franchise, without representation, without institutional power. It is us alone. But what gives me hope is knowing this. Millions of people across this country have waken up and they see what's going on. And now they're taken to the streets and they are demanding their country back.
Yeah!
Perhaps this was the best possible outcome of the election. I would have liked for President Trump to win outright. But what this election has showed us is that there are a silent majority of millions of Americans across this country who feel the same way as we do. And this fraud has been so big and so disgraceful and so indefensible and unignorable that we will not be complacent about it any longer.
Yeah!
Stop the steal! Stop the steal! Stop the steal! Stop the steal! Stop the steal!
Stop the steal! Stop the steal! Stop the steal! Stop the steal! Stop the steal!
And it looks like in Georgia we may have lost this battle. We will see what happens if there's a verification of signatures or whatever Brian Kemp said. But maybe it's over here in Georgia. That's okay. Because you know what? I'll be in Michigan next week.
Yeah!
And we'll be in Wisconsin.
Yeah!
Yeah! And we'll be in Arizona.
Yeah!
And we'll be in Pennsylvania.
Yeah!
And if all else fails, we will be back in the nation's capital in Washington, D.C.
Yeah!
forget that this is not a political battle. This is a spiritual battle. It is about us, the people of Christ, the people of God, against those evil liars in Washington, D.C. and all over the great cities of the world.
Christ is king!
Christ is king! Christ is king! Christ is king! Christ is king! Christ is king!
Christ is king! Christ is king! Christ is
And it's so true. This is not a normal election battle. It's not about tax cuts. It's not about the logistical administration of what goes on in public affairs. What is at stake in this election is the soul of this nation. The alternative to President Trump getting into office is Joe Biden. Joe Biden may be somebody who is literally demented and mentally incompetent, but he will be used as a tool of the same global special interests that have very sick plans for you and your communities and for your children. We conservatives, we the people of this country, have watched our schools, our communities, our places of business, our entire country taken from us. And you can see it in the most personal and in the most intimate ways. I see it, for example, when I see drag queens invading our libraries.
Lady Maga sucks!
This is disgusting and offensive to God. You see it when in our schools, our children that are the descendants of the founding stock of this country, children that are the founding stock of the people that built this country, they are told that they are racist. They're told that they're responsible for slavery. They're told that they're responsible for Jim Crow and segregation and the genocide of indigenous peoples and colonialism and every evil in the world. In short, our children are being told that their lives don't matter. We see that our children are under attack. If they're not aborted in the womb or outside the womb, it seems like it gets worse every year, then they go to public schools and get indoctrinated into becoming slaves for the system. They go into the schools, and if they don't get hooked on drugs from their peers or from drug dealers, they're hooked on Oxycontin and SSRIs and you name it from their doctors and their therapists. And if they make it out through all of that, then they get sacked with tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt, and they're made financial slaves to this system until the day that they die. And then at the end of all of that, their jobs are taken from them by immigrants and bad trade deals, and they're stuck at home and dying deaths of despair. Our children under this system don't stand a chance. A country that cannot facilitate marriages and the creation and the rearing of children, a country that cannot accomplish those things, there is nothing worth preserving about it. We have to overturn this new world order and create the kind of country that we want to live in. I told this story, I think, earlier this week. When I was in Washington, D.C. for the Million MAGA March, we saw a woman with her young son walking into our hotel wearing MAGA hats. And we told them we were going to the rally. We would see them the next day. And we got to talking. And she told us, with tears in her eyes, me and my friends, youngsters, she told us with tears in her eyes how tragic it was and how sad it made her that we would never experience the kind of country that she grew up in. A country that was safe, a country that was decent, a country that was orderly and cohesive and strong and proud. She said that we would never experience that. But I thought to myself, difficult as it may be, we know that through Jesus Christ, what seems impossible is possible through Him. And I believe that if we repent, and if we pray, and if we ask God for His help, God will be on our side in this war, and he will swing it in our favor. We will triumph. Because in the end, Jesus Christ is the sovereign over everything in this world. Jesus and God are in control of all of this. So as much as you may be dispirited or discouraged or feel like things are hopeless, know this. No matter who they have on their side, we have the ultimate authority. And if God is with us, then who can be against us? And that is the difference. We have to get off our phones and get off our couches and stop placing our faith in false leaders who betray us. And we have to do it ourselves. We have to show up in these state capitals. We have to do it every weekend if we have to. Because if we don't win this battle here this year, we may never get another chance to save our country again. And it's really this simple. If they were able to commit widespread voter fraud with millions of votes in 7 swing states, and if they get away with that this time with President Trump, who is a fighter, then there is no limit to what they can get away with. They will get away with it on a larger scale in 2022 and on an even bigger scale in 24, and we will never have a fair shake at overturning this system ever again. Joe Biden